Hey everybody, and welcome to Fitness and Fat Loss Secrets. I'm Jay Altman, and in case you're joining us for the first time or coming back, let's talk about what this is all about. It's all about answering one big question, and that big question is this: how do we lose weight while still feeling great without cheating by taking dangerous supplements, drugs, or undergoing surgeries that could really hurt us? And how do we sort through all the confusing information out there when it comes to how to eat and exercise to lose weight? So that's the big question, and this Fitness and Fat Loss Secrets has your answers. That said, if you are stuck in for any reason in your journey from where it is you are to where it is you want to be, so you're here and you're trying to get here, I want you to ask me your questions below in the comment section. There's no reason to be stuck. We are in the information age, and the information is there. And if I can't help you, I will find the way to help you get unstuck. So when it comes to how to eat for weight loss, how to exercise for weight loss, and how to think for weight loss, how to get and stay motivated, I've helped literally thousands of people transform their bodies and minds to go from where it is they are to where it is they want to go. And I want to help you too. If you've been following along recently, you know we are in the middle of a 10-part series. Today we are on part number 6 of our 10-part series for how to be unstoppable. And today we're going to get right into it. I'm really excited to have some really great information for you guys for today. And the first thing, so we're going to cover 3 things today. And the first of those 3 things are this, which is the idea of to rest more. Now, before we get to the idea of rest more, we have to, what I like to say is to earn your rest. So if we're talking about exercise, for example, if you rest more but you haven't exercised already, then it's no good, right? But if while exercising, say you exercise and you exercise hard, then you have earned the right to rest. So we always want to do before we rest, but I'm going to make an assumption here that we're already doing. And this concept doesn't just apply to exercise, it applies to anything we're doing. So I apply it to myself as an entrepreneur. You can apply it to yourself in your career. You can apply it to yourself in many different kinds of ways. But the idea is to rest more. Now, a lot of times when people say come to me for exercise, they come and they're very excited, right? They're excited about going to where it is they want to go. And oftentimes people, when they first come to exercise, they have not been doing any exercise, sometimes for weeks, sometimes months, sometimes it's years. They have not exercised on a consistent basis. And then they're very excited. So then what they want to do, they want to go from a nothing or very little or the wrong kinds of exercise. And then they want to like all of a sudden go and like they want to fully commit to like exercising every single day. And I get it. Like it's very fun and very exciting to think about, you know, going from a nothing to like all of a sudden like boom, yeah, I've made the decision, here I go, I'm like ready to go full go. But what happens is in that process, they undervalue rest. So I'll say to them, you know, exercising 2 or 3 days a week is enough, and taking the other days as off days or rest days, they have a hard time understanding that the rest is just as important as doing the work. And the same applies for in your career, in your work, and you can apply this to a lot of other areas. And the reason for that is, let's take the body for example with exercise. Right now we'll make a line and pretend this is a graph. And on this line, this is how much muscle you have in your body. Now, if you come to me and we exercise together today, what happens is we take the muscle you have and we break that muscle tissue down, right? It breaks down. Now, if you exercise again tomorrow, you are not recovered from what you did today tomorrow so that you can do the same level of exercise again or any exercise. And if you attempt it, say if you do choose to come tomorrow and you exercise again, what happens? You break the body down further. If you come again the next day, you break the body down again further. And you stay on that path, and pretty soon what happens is that the body breaks down so much that you end up injured, physically injured, psychologically injured. And then what happens is exercise equals something that you hate, or exercise equals something that when you do exercise, it breaks your body down so much that you do get injured. And you think, well, when I exercise, I get injured. Okay, so what we want to have happen is to come in, you exercise, you break the body down, and then we wait until we're rested and recovered So rest, I want you to know this, rest is productivity. Rest is productivity when you've put in the work, you've earned the rest, and then you rest until you're recovered. You know, the cool thing in the body, once you exercise and you break down the body, it comes in and actually, so here's where we were before, now you've rested and recovered, and your body actually repairs better than what it was before you started, which is exactly how it should go. And then when you exercise again, you break it down, and then you wait, and it goes like this. And you can see how that would create a trend where over any period of weeks, months, or years, that over that trend line, you are constantly resting, you're working, you're resting and repairing, and then you are better and better and better and better all along the path. Okay, so value your rest and know that rest is productivity. So like we just talked about, rest is just not sleeping. Rest is, if it's in your work, it can be like taking breaks. It can be working in spurts, right? Like maybe you're going to pick a 15-minute chunk, a 30-minute chunk, a 45-minute chunk where you're going to be into your work, you're working on a thing, and then you get up, you take a walk, you take a little break, and you get away from it. And it's really important. There's a really famous designer in New York, and every 7 years, he does something that's like really significant, where he takes like a full year, like off of work, doesn't work at all for a full year. He just travels the world, and during this time where he's traveling the world, he is like just gaining inspiration. He's trying to be away from work and just trying to focus on being away. And the reason for that is it's oftentimes where he's getting his big ideas. One of the ways he's able to be one of the best designers in the world is he goes away and he's taking in inspiration from nature, inspiration from restaurants, inspiration from hotels, inspiration from, who knows where, like from everywhere, from, thinking about things, whatever. And he's pulling all this in, and then when he's ready to take on work the next year, he's filled with inspiration. And along the path, maybe he's writing down things that inspire him, maybe taking pictures of things that inspire, but he comes back after taking a full year off. And that's more of an extreme example, obviously, of how to take a rest period. And other examples of that would be a lot of big-time music artists. They will, work and work and work and work, produce an album, and then maybe they go on tour, playing their album or playing, like all the songs they just came up with. And then when all that's done, they take a period of time. Sometimes it's a few months, sometimes it's a year, sometimes it's several years, sometimes it's even a decade or more, where they're just being. They're gaining inspiration. They're like resting and repairing. And as they're doing that, they're getting filled up. And when they feel inspired, then they can go and produce again. Okay? So one basic truth I want to tell you, the better quality your life is away from work or working out, the better quality that is, the more effective you're going to be when you show back up into your work or into your workout. So if you work out and then you take an effective break back, so I'm not talking about weeks here for that. For exercise, it's a day, a 2 or 3 that you're taking off in between exercise sessions. But when you come back, you will be physiologically refreshed. You will be psychologically refreshed. You'll be ready to go. And as you get more and more fit, generally what happens, you need less time between those workout sessions as you're coming back. And there's other things that come into play there too. The main thing is to listen to your own body. Some people are made to be able to exercise every day and do really well with it. Me in particular, I exercise daily, but very light most days. And 2 or 3 days per week, I can exercise at a more intense level. Any more than that, my body breaks down. I work with people that can exercise 4 or 5, 6 days a week, and their bodies do amazing with it. The point really is to focus in and tune in to you and your own body or your own life as you move forward, and to value rest. Okay, so that's our thing number 1 for today. To how to become unstoppable is to value your rest and make rest equal something that is productive time for you after you put in the work. All right, let's move on to thing number 2, way number 2 for this day, for how to be more productive and how to be unstoppable. And that thing is to think more. What do I mean by that? Well, let me ask you a question. How much time right now per day do you spend just by yourself, just thinking? Right? For many of us, it's not much, if any at all, that we're actually spending time in thought or deep thought. A while back, we talked about walking. Walking daily can be a very good habit. Another reason for walking, it gives you time to think. When you walk, you're actually producing feel-good chemicals in your brain, serotonin. And when you're producing serotonin, and especially if you can walk outside, you can take in inspiration. And I can tell you for sure for me, oftentimes when I'm walking, I get some of my best ideas. And when I'm out walking, I'll come back and oftentimes I'll have 1, 2, or 3 things that I felt inspired by out on my walk. And sometimes when I'm walking, I just go out and I'll walk and I won't listen to anything. But more often than not, I have my headphones on and I'm either listening to some kind of education piece, like self-education, or I'm listening to like electronic dance music, something that stimulates me into thinking at a higher level, and then I'm gaining ideas. And if nothing else, for sure, I'm gaining energy. But many, many times it stimulates me into deep thinking. Okay? Now, the more time you have to think deeply about your life, your goals and your priorities, the better decisions you're going to make regarding each of those goals and priorities, right? So I want to tell you this, 95% of a person's thoughts every day are the exact same thoughts they had the day before, and the day before, and the day before, and the day before. But you guys, I know, are always in the mode of upgrading your life, upgrading your life. Now, when you are constantly upgrading your life and learning new things, then your thoughts will constantly be changing. They'll be expanding, and you'll be connecting different things together. That's why, being out in nature, maybe you'll gain some inspiration by being outside that helps you with your business, or helps you with your fitness life, or helps you with your weight loss goal, or maybe, anyway, like things like that is what happens when you're able to spend more time thinking. So what I want to impress upon you is to give yourself time, give yourself space in your day to think, whether it's first thing in the morning, and it doesn't have to be long times either. Sometimes it can be just like a 5-minute quiet time where you're going to be able to think. But give that stuff to you. Give that as a gift. And I'll leave you with this thought, which is the concept of always planting seeds in your mind. I want you to get really good at planting the garden, if you will, of your mind, right? Get really good at planting the garden. What that means is think what it is that you want. Stay focused in on what it is you want. Okay, stay focused in on what it is you want. And as you do that, what you plant in your garden of your mind, you will reap. So be careful about what your thoughts are. If you have negative thoughts coming up or negative ideas, or you're questioning why you can't get something, that's exactly what you'll get. But when you get focused in on what it is you want, if you want to lose a certain amount of weight, when do you want to lose it by? I want to lose this much weight by this date at this time. Now you have a clear thing to think about, to focus in on. And when you think at that kind of level, you will get it. Okay? So tune into that. So that's our thing number 2, you guys. Let's move right on now to thing number 3 for how we can all become unstoppable. Okay? And thing number 3 today is to give more. Give more. One of the most powerful mental transitions we can all make as a person, as we become wiser, as we're moving along our individual journeys, is to go from a taking mentality to a giving mentality, okay? Becoming self-actualized as a person means you've developed your inner and outer confidence to have your own needs met. What does this mean? Another way to think about this is to, like, I've sometimes used the analogy of filling your own pitcher. Like if you're always just trying to give, but you haven't filled up your own vessel, then you have nothing left to give. So this is assuming to give more means we're assuming that you're already have become self-actualized enough to fill yourself up so that you can then be a giver, okay? When you're filled up and you know on a daily basis you're taking time and space to fill yourself up, then you can go out and be a giver, right? So here's a quote from out of a book from an author named Darren Hardy. he wrote a book called The Compound Effect, and what he says is this: a person's life can generally be measured by the size of the problems they're trying to solve, right? So, which then brings up a question: how big are the questions how big are the questions coming up that you're trying to solve? Or how big are the problems, I should say? How big are the problems that are you trying to solve? Like, how big are they? The bigger the bigger the problems you're trying to solve, the better you're going to feel. The more you're going to be contributing back to, maybe it's your family, maybe it's your community, maybe it's community at large, maybe it's the world, right? So the bigger the problems you're trying to solve, the bigger it's going to be. Now, one of the guys that I've followed in my life, one of my mentors, his name is Joe Polish. And Joe Polish, if you're not familiar with Joe runs one of the largest, biggest masterminds for entrepreneurs called the Genius Network. Now, inside the Genius Network, he has a list of rules that he expects whenever he's like communicating to anybody. He has a list of rules that he gives out and that he uses himself to gain report. And what he does, he calls this list his magic report formula. And I'm going to read off here what these rules are. There's several of them, maybe 8 or 10 of them here. So the first one is to focus on how you will help them reduce their suffering. So this is thinking about when you're thinking about working with somebody else, whether it's a family member, a friend, a coworker, someone in your church, someone in your business, you know, how it is, you're going to focus on how it is you're going to help them reduce their suffering. The second thing is to invest time, money, and energy on relationships. The third thing is to be the type of person they would always answer the phone for. Like, be the person that you know that, like, anytime you call, if they see that you're calling, like, oh my gosh, Jay's calling, boom, pick up the phone. That's how you want to be, yes? Right? So the next thing, then the fourth thing is to be useful, grateful, and valuable. So anytime you're able to have the opportunity to interact, do it with the ideas of being useful, grateful, and valuable. 5 is to treat others how you would love to be treated. Okay, so regardless of how somebody's treating you, treat them how you would love to be treated. Not how you think you deserve to be treated, not how you want to be treated, but how you would love. Like, what would make you feel like amazing? If people treated you like this, you would love it. And be that for the others in your life. The next one is to avoid formalities, be fun and memorable, and not boring. So when you're there, you know, like, don't try to do things, you know, buy a book or anything like that. But, you know, you can take concepts or ideas out of a book, but try to do things in a fun, memorable, and exciting kind of a way. The next thing then is to appreciate people. Let them know with your words and your actions that you appreciate them. And then the next one is to give value on the spot. So anytime that you can, try to, you know, sometimes maybe the giving value on the spot is just being a listening ear. You don't need to say anything. You just need to be the listener for the day. Sometimes maybe somebody is asking for something. Like this morning, somebody came to me and was looking for advice for how to lose weight. They're stuck on their journey. So on the spot, what I aim to do is to give them value, to get them in a direction of feeling good, into feeling clear, to feeling inspired about taking their next steps into their journey. And then the last thing here is to get as close to in-person as you can. So if you have the opportunity to be face-to-face with people, do it. And if not, like something like what I'm doing right now on video to somebody is closer than being on the phone, which is closer than maybe writing a letter. You know, we can create more and more and more distance. But anytime you have the opportunity, get as close to in-person as you can. And those are Joe's rules. I think they're really fantastic rules. And so I wanted to share those with you. The bottom line is to focus on giving, on gratitude, and growth. Okay, so be a giver. So to recap our day today, we talked about rest more, we talked about think more, and we talked about give more. All right, guys, thanks so much. That's what I have for you today. Remember, just above this video, there's some other resources there. Some of those resources are free. Please download them, use them, pass them on any way you see fit to do, if it's something you think it would be valuable to you. Also above this video, you are going to see other resources that are not free. These are for a fee. There's a diet plan called Metabolic Typing, which is customized nutrition for you. There's another plan called Fit in 30, which is a paleo-style eating diet plan that spells out for you exactly what to eat, when to eat it for 30 days to help get you fast-tracked to for weight loss, okay? So if you feel like that's appropriate for you, check them out. They, like I said, those do cost money. You are worth it, is worth it. They don't cost that much, but use it. There's a lot of value there to it, all right? Until next time, you guys, I want to say thank you so much. I do appreciate you all. I do love you all. And until next time, have a great week. We'll see you guys all real soon. Bye for now.